Hey, welcome back, my amazing students. So, a couple lectures ago, I showed you guys how we can programmatically redirect a user to a different view, right, on an event. Now, on this lecture here, what I want to show you is how we can do this dynamically. All right. So basically, if let's say we can use this for protected routes. So if the user is it's somewhere else in somewhere in our application, let's say a dashboard, and we don't want that user to be there. Once the user lands in that view, it would be redirected back somewhere else, right? Maybe to a login page. So let's go ahead and create that scenario real quick and show you how to do that. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I have pages here. And I'm going to create a page here called, I'm going to create two files. One is going to be called login.jsets. And let me just copy this and paste it in here. And let's just say login right there. And this is going to give you practice here into creating, components and routes. So I suggest you start and you follow me, I suggest. All right. So follow me. So login page. All right. So that's login page there. And let's go ahead and also create another page. Let's just say that this is called, I'm just going to name it protected route. All right. Protected route, JSX. And let's just paste that in there. And let's just call this protected. You name it. You guessed it. Protected route. There we go. All right. Perfect. All right. Make sure that you have some type of, route for this, right? Because right now, there's no way to get there, right? I mean, if we type it in here, let me just take that off from here. If we type it in here, it's not going to work on top, right? Because we have no route for it, right? So for example, let's go into let's take all that off. Let's go into the app.js sets file. And then here, we'll create a route for login. Like this, login. And we'll bring that in, of course. Let's just bring it in. Login. There we go. Now, if we go in here, we type in login, we can see that login page, right? All right, or login view. Now, we could do the same thing for the protected page. Let's just do it here. Let's just bring this, import, and this should give me the route name somewhere. Protect. Actually, it's not doing that because maybe I'm not exporting that the right way. Let me see that. Protected route. It should work. Editors don't work 100% sometimes, so make sure that you try different ways of doing things. All right, and let's just make sure that that works. So let's call this dashboard or dash, like this, or admin, it doesn't matter. All right, let's come back here. And now if we type in admin, you see it works, right? So how can we make this happen? How can we redirect the user dynamically? Once they land on this here, I don't even want them to see this title. I don't want them to see that H1 there. How we can make this happen? All right, so let's go back into it to protect it. And this is where we got to make things happen. So the first thing that we need to do is import this component called navigate from React Router DOM. Now, once we do that, now since we already have this protected route here, right, wrapped right? Since we already have it in here, this function can receive something called the user and the children. And I'll show you later on a better example, right? But just know that these props are passed in automatically now that we're using this in our route. Simple as that. So this user here now is, of course, is going to be false because by default, this has to do with authentication. We don't have any authentication set up, or we don't have anything that makes this user true, right? So the user is going to be false. Now the children here represents whatever's inside our component, whatever's inside this component, all right? So if we have more components inside these protected routes, like for example, this route was, let's say the dashboard, and inside the dashboard, we have users, we have posts, we have categories, we have components inside this component, then those will be considered children, all right? Keep that in mind. So again, let's say, for example, this was something like this. And then we'll have this one here. And then we had another component here. And then whatever components we have inside here would be children, all right? Keep that in mind. Simple as that. But anyway, let me finish this example. So we want to dynamically actually, this case, redirect the user somewhere else because they're not going to be authenticated. Let's just make believe that they're not going to be, right? So in this line here, in this return, what I can do, I can put a ternary operation here. I can say if user, all right? If the user is true, if we have a user and it's, authenticated, then I want that user or, to be able to see the children, whatever's inside this protected component. I want them to see whatever's inside, right? If not, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this navigate component back here. I'm going to use it to, what in the world? All right. I'm going to use it to, let me just make it one line here, one tag. I'm going to use it to redirect to a login. All right, simple as that. All right, let me just close this here. All right, so remember that we're getting this properties here automatically because we're using this in a route. Okay, simple as that. So now let's go into here. Oh, there we go. And let's say we want to go into the admin. Enter, and you can see that that goes into login page. I guess that already was doing it. But anyway, you can see that works just like that, all right? So if, for example, here, let me just make this a little bit more clear here. Let's say right here, let's just create this constant. Actually, let me go into the app.js sets right here, where I have my routes, okay? And let me see if I can do this. Let me take state out of here for some reason. It's there. Right inside this function, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make believe that we have a user. At this point, the user is authenticated. I'm just going to put true in here. And right here in my element, let me just bring this down a little bit so I'll show you. Inside here, in the element attribute, inside the protected route component, I'm going to access this props that I told you is passed in automatically. And I'm going to place in here the auth user, just like that. Remember now, this value here will be true, all right? So my idea with this is that we should be able to access the admin now, right? So instead of redirecting us to the login page, now when we come back here and do admin, you can see that it's not in there, but that's because I have nothing on that component. Let's go and go to that protected route, right? And right now it should be, we don't have any children in there, all right? But let's go ahead and create another component where we can see that the children, all right? So let's go into pages and let's just create another file here. And let's just call this dashboard.js sets. There we go. And let's just put something there so that way we can see it. Dashboard. Make sure that you put this in the route, right? Dashboard. So now you can see now that you cannot see that here. So let's go back into the app.js sets. Let's make sure that this has a route. And the route with this here, actually, let me see something here. Sorry about that. All right, come back here. Now, you can see now that the path for this one here is admin, right? Now, if I go in here, let me go ahead and make sure that I create the ending for this, the ending tag. And inside here, like I mentioned before, now what I want to do is I want to bring in, let's import it from the top here. I want to bring in that dashboard component in here, dashboard, right? And now what I could do is I can put that in here as a child. So now let's do dashboard, just like that. Perfect. Now remember that these are going to be the children now. So watch this. You see that? Right? So now when I want to access admin, I'm able to access the children. And that's exactly what we're doing, right? In here. If the user is true, show any children that you have. Simple as that. Else, navigate to login. So now if we go back into the app.js, and we make this null here, right? And then we try to go to admin again here, enter, you can see it goes to the login page. All right, because that's not true anymore. See how that works? All right, hopefully that was clear enough, guys. If you like my lectures, make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube. Make sure that you are, hitting the likes button. Make sure that, you comment if you have any questions. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next lecture, guys. All right, please support my channels, support my website, help me out. I'll see you guys on the next lectures.